and firefighting team responded swiftly, working alongside the Saudi ground crew to contain the smoke and prevent any damage to the aircraft. All the passengers were safely deboarded, and officials have confirmed that there was no disruption to the airport operations following the incident. Ajay Dubey has filed this story from Lucknow. Viewers, take a look.
लखनऊ के चौधरी चरण सिंह एयरपोर्ट पे कल के दिन सऊदी अरेबिया से एक फ़्लाइट आई और उस फ्लाइट को लेकर तमाम तरीके की जानकारी आई है। हम लखनऊ एयरपोर्ट पे मौजूद हैं, तस्वीरें आपको दिखा रहे हैं जहां सऊदी एयरपोर्ट से उड़ी एक फ़्लाइट, सऊदी अरेबिया एयरलाइंस की फ़्लाइट SV3112 लैंड करती है। लैंडिंग के दौरान पहिए से चिंगारी और धुआं निकलता है, जिसके बाद अफरा तफरी की स्थिति में जो ग्राउंड सपोर्ट टीम है वो उस आग को बुझाती है। और ठीक हमारे आंखों के सामने हम आपको तस्वीरों में विजुअल्स दिखा रहे हैं। सऊदी अरेबिया एयरलाइंस की फ्लाइट खड़ी है, ये वही फ्लाइट है या नहीं ये हम कंफर्म कर रहे हैं, कोशिश कर रहे हैं। लेकिन सऊदी अरेबिया की फ्लाइट हमें हैंगर पर खड़ी हुई दिखाई रही है, जो कल के दिन सुबह तकरीबन 6:30 बजे लैंड करती है। 20 मिनट की मशक्कत के बाद जो ये पूरी समस्या थी उसको कंट्रोल में लेकर आते हैं। शनिवार की बता दें आपको, रात में 11:30 बजे जद्दा एयरपोर्ट से हज यात्रियों को लेकर ये जहाज उड़ा था और रविवार की सुबह लखनऊ पहुंचता है। लैंड करते ही पहिए में आग लग जाती है, पुशबैक कर टैक्सी वे पर इसे लाया जाता है और किसी तरीके से जो ग्राउंड सपोर्ट की टीमें होती हैं वो टीमें इस आग को अपने कंट्रोल में लेती है। रनवे पर जब वो लैंड करता है तभी धुआं उठता दिखाई देता है। हम ठीक एयरपोर्ट पर मौजूद हैं, आपको तस्वीरें दिखा रहे हैं। सऊदी अरेबिया की एक फ्लाइट हैंगर पे लगी हुई है और तमाम इन सब बातों के बीच अहमदाबाद में जो घटना घटी है, जो अथॉरिटीज है कंसर्न्ड है, अलग अलग जो टीमें हैं वो इस पूरे मामले की जांच भी कर रही हैं।
Ladies and gentlemen, in a big breaking news coming in, the second black box has been recovered from the nose side area of the plane at around 1:15 today. This is the big breaking news that is coming in. Viewers, remember both the black boxes from the wreckage of the ill-fated Air India flight 171 has now been recovered as the probe into the devastating tragedy continues. Now, the second black box of the Air India flight AI-171, which, remember, crashed on June 12th, has now been recovered, and the officials are now investigating the incident. Now, the recovery of the cockpit voice recorder as well as the flight data recorder, which was found earlier, will help and identify the possible cause of the deadly crash, which has claimed the life of 241 passengers. Let's cut straight across to Harsha, who joins me live on this story. Harsha, the second black box has been recovered, and of course the investigation into the devastating tragedy is picking up pace. What more can you tell us?
So to tell all our viewers is that, black box has several parts. The one part was recovered earlier, and the second part of the black box has been recovered. Now it has been recovered at around 1:50 p.m. At around 1:50 p.m. from the side, the nose tail from the tail of the aircraft, it has been recovered, and it's very substantiated that how important this black box is, because with the help of black box only, we will get to know exactly what happened in the aircraft, what exactly transpired into everything, exactly what was said to the ATC at the last.
अटूट मित्रता की मोहर है। इसके लिए मैं एक बार फिर हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, साइप्रस के साथ हम अपने संबंधों को बहुत महत्व देते हैं। लोकतंत्र और रूल ऑफ लॉ जैसे मूल्यों में साझा विश्वास हमारी साझेदारी के मजबूत आधार है। भारत और साइप्रस की मित्रता न परिस्थितियों से बनी है और न ही सीमाओं से बंधी है। ये समय की कसौटी पर बार बार परखी गई है और समय के हर दौर में हमने सहयोग, सम्मान और समर्थन, इस भावनाओं को जीवंत रखा है। हम एक दूसरे की संप्रभुता और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता का सम्मान करते हैं। फ्रेंड्स, 2 दशक से भी लंबे अंतराल के बाद किसी भारतीय प्रधानमंत्री की साइप्रस यात्रा हो रही है और ये आपसी संबंधों में एक नया अध्याय लिखने का एक स्वर्णिम अवसर है। आज राष्ट्रपति जी और मैंने द्विपक्षीय संबंधों के सभी पहलुओं पर व्यापक चर्चा की। साइप्रस के विजन 2035 और विकसित भारत 2047 के विजन के कई पहलुओं में समानता है। इसलिए हम साथ मिलकर भविष्य को आकार देंगे। अपनी साझेदारी को स्ट्रेटेजिक दिशा देने के लिए हम अगले 5 वर्षों के लिए एक ठोस रोडमैप बनाएंगे। रक्षा और सहयोग को और मजबूती देने के लिए द्विपक्षीय डिफेंस कोऑपरेशन प्रोग्राम के तहत रक्षा उद्योग पर बल दिया जाएगा। साइबर और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी पर अलग से डायलॉग शुरू किया जाएगा। क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म के विरुद्ध भारत की लड़ाई में साइप्रस के सतत समर्थन के लिए हम बहुत बहुत आभारी हैं। आतंकवाद, ड्रग्स और आर्म्स की तस्करी की रोकथाम के लिए हमारी एजेंसीज के बीच रियल टाइम इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सचेंज का मैकेनिज्म तैयार किया जाएगा। हम दोनों सहमत हैं कि हमारे आपसी व्यापार और निवेश में बहुत पोटेंशियल है। कल राष्ट्रपति जी के साथ मैंने दोनों देशों के आर्थिक संबंधों को लेकर बिजनेस जगत में एक उत्साह और सिनर्जी को महसूस किया। हम एक पारस्परिक लाभकारी भारत और ईयू फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को साल के अंत तक संपन्न करने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। इस साल भारत, साइप्रस और ग्रीस बिजनेस और इन्वेस्टमेंट काउंसिल भी लॉन्च किया गया है। इन इनिशिएटिव से दोनों देशों के बीच आपसी व्यापार और निवेश को भी बल मिलेगा। टेक्नोलॉजी, इनोवेशन, हेल्थ, एग्रीकल्चर, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, क्लाइमेट जस्टिस जैसे क्षेत्रों में आपसी सहयोग पर भी विस्तार से बात हुई है। साइप्रस में योग और आयुर्वेद के प्रसार को देखकर हम उत्साहित हैं। भारतीय टूरिस्ट के लिए भी साइप्रस एक पसंदीदा डेस्टिनेशन है। उनके लिए डायरेक्ट एयर कनेक्टिविटी बनाने पर जोर दिया जाएगा। हमने निश्चय किया कि मोबिलिटी एग्रीमेंट को जल्द पूरा करने के लिए काम किया जाएगा। फ्रेंड्स, यूरोपियन यूनियन में साइप्रस हमारा विश्वसनीय पार्टनर है। अगले वर्ष साइप्रस की यूरोपियन यूनियन अध्यक्षता के लिए हम शुभकामनाएं देते हैं। हमें विश्वास है कि आपकी अध्यक्षता में भारत और ईयू संबंधों में नए आयाम जुड़ेंगे। वीएन को समकालीन बनाने के लिए जरूरी रिफॉर्म्स को लेकर हमारे विचारों में समानता है। साइप्रस द्वारा सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल में भारत की स्थायी सदस्यता का समर्थन करने के लिए हम आपके आभारी हैं। पश्चिम एशिया और यूरोप में चल रहे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को लेकर हम दोनों ने चिंता व्यक्त की है। इनका नकारात्मक प्रभाव केवल उस क्षेत्र तक सीमित नहीं है। हम दोनों मानते हैं कि यह युद्ध का युग नहीं है। संवाद से समाधान और स्थिरता की बहाली ये मानवता की पुकार है। मेडिटरेनियन क्षेत्र के साथ कनेक्टिविटी बढ़ाने पर भी हमने बात की। हम सहमत है कि इंडिया मिडिल ईस्ट यूरोप इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर से क्षेत्र में शांति और समृद्धि का मार्ग प्रशस्त होगा। राष्ट्रपति जी, मैं आपको भारत यात्रा के लिए सादर निमंत्रित करता हूं। आशा करता हूं जल्द ही भारत में आपका स्वागत करने का अवसर मिलेगा। एक बार फिर इस विशिष्ट आतिथ्य और सम्मान के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Well, that was PM Modi in Cyprus. PM Modi, in fact, highlighted India's rapid economic transformation in the last 11 years. And he has also noted that the country, which is propelled by the next generation reforms, policy predictability, stable polity and ease of doing business, has become the fastest growing major economy. In fact, he has also invited the Cyprus president to come visit India. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, PM Modi is the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Cyprus in over 2 decades, 23 years to be exact, ladies and gentlemen. Viewers, on your screens are the mortal remains of late former Gujarat CM Vijay Rupani. The mortal remains have now reached Rajkot. Just a while ago, we saw the last rites, in fact, of Vijay Rupani. The mortal remains have now reached Rajkot. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the late former Gujarat CM lost his life in the tragic and the devastating Air India AI-171 crash that happened in Ahmedabad just a couple of days ago that claimed the life of 241 passengers on board. On your screens are visuals of the mortal remains of Vijay Rupani that has now reached Rajkot, Gujarat. A show of strength, discipline and determination. In a major boost to Jammu and Kashmir security apparatus, over 1,100 newly trained police officers passed out from the Sher-e Kashmir Police Academy in Udhampur today. With top brass including LG Manoj Sinha and DGP Nalan Prabhat in attendance, this new force is set to take on terror, narco networks and law and order challenges head on. Take a look.
We are here at the Udhampur Training Center and we have seen that the 1112 the PSIs, and after we have seen that the 50 DSPs have been trained here to deal the counter-terrorism in the Jammu and Kashmir. Also, we have seen the training that was given to these officers, and you can see from this very side, if Goro can show visuals from the very side, that the piping ceremony is going there, and you can see here the visuals that these are the Jammu and Kashmir police officers who have been trained in the Udhampur. In fact, we have also been told that these officers have been trained to deal every situation in the Jammu and Kashmir, whether it's counter-terrorism, whether it's narco-terrorism and other things. Also have been trained with the latest, if we'll talk about the latest challenge that the forces are tackling in the Jammu and Kashmir. These officers, these young and the dynamic officers are capable to deal with the every situation. आप मुझे बताइए कैसा आपको लगा यहाँ पर पर क्या कुछ ट्रेनिंग हुई आज तक, क्या फीलिंग?
It has been such a relieving moment. We are waiting for this moment since last 1 year. We have gone through the worst training. We have trained in like temperature like 40 plus. We have done the best training in the country. But this is such a relieving moment. One of the most memorable moments in my life. Let me tell you one thing. It was not easy. It was really not easy. He's my papa, Sayyid Altaf.
So you want to say thing, कुछ बताएंगे आप, क्या कुछ इन्होंने कैसे ये ट्रेनिंग की और क्या आपकी फीलिंग है आज, कैसे ही अपनी देश की सुरक्षा करने की?
सबसे पहले मैं आपका शुक्रिया अदा करना हूँ कि अपना कीमती वक्त आपने दिया हमें, क्योंकि मैं फ़ख्र फील करता हूँ कि मैं इसका बाप हूँ। गाइडेंस हमारी है लेकिन मेहनत इसकी अपनी है।
आप मुझे बताइए क्या कैसे आपकी ट्रेनिंग रही, कितने समय की रही और क्या कुछ आपको ट्रेनिंग मिली?
So actually we have been posted here for around a year. We have been undergoing rigorous training for around a year. But alhamdulillah we have passed it and we are ready with all that courage, zeal and zest to serve our nation, to serve our country.
Viewers, it's time to slip into a very, very short break. On the other side, unprecedented escalation. Iranian missiles hit US Embassy in Israel Embassy to stay shut for the day. Not just this, we're also tracking the second story of the day. Census 2027 process has begun. Central government issues Gazette notification. Census 2027 process begins officially. We'll be tracking that and a lot more. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
15 साल हो गया उनको वहाँ पे, 10-15 साल से।
और इंडिया में कब से आए थे?
इंडिया यहाँ पे उनके मम्मी का हार्ट हो गया था बोल के उनको मिलने आए थे। हाँ। तो 6 दिन में रिटर्न था उनका जाने का, तो 6 दिन में ये हादसा हो गया।
कहाँ से? अहमदाबाद की प्रॉपर रहने वाले?
नहीं, एक्चुअली रहते हैं हम लोग बॉम्बे है क्या। हाँ। और वाया फ्लाइट था। हाँ। तो बॉम्बे से यहाँ आए थे, यहाँ से हम लोग को उनको
We don't just carry the headlines, we report on them. We get information from the highest level of sources. We get you news from the men in uniform, from those on the front. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how real reporting is done on the ground and in real time. The RSG Diploma course begins on June 30th. If you want to lead the story, start here.
Hello and welcome. You're watching live and breaking at 2:30 p.m. I am Tanisha Avasthi. Prime Minister Modi is in Cyprus. He will be heading to Canada for the G7 summit. We're tracking that story very, very closely. But before that, we'll get a quick check of the headlines that we're tracking at this hour. Major technical glitch forces Air India bound Delhi flight to return back to Hong Kong. Smoke and sparks fly near wheels of Saudi Airlines plane while landing at Lucknow Airport. Woman allegedly assaulted by a Rapido bike taxi driver near a footwear showroom in Bengaluru. Prime Minister Modi received ceremonial welcome in Cyprus, set to leave for Canada in the evening for G7 summit. Central government issues Gazette notification. Census 2027 process begins officially. An unprecedented escalation. Iranian missiles hit the US embassy in Israel embassy to stay shut for a day. And we saw this edition with big breaking news coming in where we learned that the Civil Aviation Secretary, DGCA, the BCAS officials have reached for a high-level committee meeting at the Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, this is a very crucial meeting that's being held in the national capital. Officials of the DGCA, Civil Aviation Secretary, and the BCAS officials have reached at the MHA, and this is for the high-level meeting. Remember, this comes after back-to-back glitches and technical issues were reported on board several airlines and not just Air India. Today, we had 3 of them that had received glitches mid-air. Some also had to return back to their designated place for where they were flying, and all of this due to technical snags that were reported. Several incidents of aviation issues are now coming to fore, and hence in regard with the same, the Civil Aviation Secretary, the DGCA officials and the BCAS Secretary, BCAS officials, I beg your pardon, are holding a crucial meet at the Ministry of Home Affairs in the national capital. They have already reached there. We'll try and see if we can get Harsha to get us details on that story. Harsha, take us through what is going to happen inside the meeting, because it's a very crucial meet that comes after there were several airlines that had reported glitches and issues, be it mid-air or on the airport. What is this meeting all about, and what could be the conclusion that we could expect?
So yes, so the meeting has begun, but officials are still arriving. We'll show you more visuals from outside MHA only, because the officials are continuously arriving. There are several officials who are part of this high-level committee meeting, because in this entire high-level committee meeting, which is being conducted under the chairmanship of Home Secretary, the officials of DGCA, BCAS, the officials from Gujarat government, the officials from Forensics Department, Secretary MOCA, and also other security officials are also there in this high-level committee meeting. It's very important to know that after the crash, it becomes very important that what were the reasons behind the Ahmedabad-London bound plane crash, the aircraft plane crash. Many are saying it's the fault of the Boeing. Many have been stating, there have been speculations rolling around that there was an issue in the engine. Some have stated that the issue was with the landing gear. But appropriate reason, what went wrong inside the aircraft? First, the black box have been recovered. Both the black boxes have been recovered. But now, the major reasoning, what exactly happened? What was the communication between ATC and the pilot, and exactly which equipment was faulty inside the aircraft? Also, if Boeing needs to be halted, all the operations of the Boeing needs to be halted or not halted.
Right,
how many equipments inside the cockpit and the flight control system is actually under maintenance? This entire thing has to be investigated, and that's the reason the high-level committee meeting has been formed. And right now outside MHA, and it's very important for viewers also to know, as the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu on Sunday clearly stated, by stating that the report of this high-level committee meeting will come in 3 months. That means 3 months' time has been given to this committee to investigate everything, what went wrong that led to this plane crash. So in 3 months, this committee will be meeting several times, and also each and every detail which have been taken from the crash site, everything will be monitored, inspected thoroughly, and one-on-one everyone will be questioned also, who were the part of the security team, the engineering department as well. So thorough investigation is needed exactly to know the reasons behind the plane crash, and this is the first meeting which has begun today at around 2:30, and all the officials have arrived.
Right, Harsha. Harsha, stay with me, because we're getting in live shots continuously of the key meeting that is being held. Also talk to us about if this meeting is only going to be on the Ahmedabad Air India plane crash that happened just a few days ago, or is it also going to be on the other incidents that the airlines have reported, be it today where the Delhi-Hong Kong-based flight was forced to return after it detected technical snags. Is it going to be on those issues as well, or is it solely on the Ahmedabad Air India plane crash?
So right now what we have gotten to know that solely this committee will only investigate the reason behind the Ahmedabad plane crash. But yes, the other issues which we have been reporting continuously from past several days, even from the day of the crash to till now, every day we have been reporting the technical snags emerging from each and every flight of Air India, some which went from Delhi to Bangalore, from Delhi to Vadodara. There were 3 planes on the same day of the crash which reported technical snag. Today also there was a Hong Kong Delhi bound flight which did emergency landing. Everything in these flights, technical snags, is being looked by DGCA. So DGCA, the regulator, has already received the preliminary report from the side of the Air India. The DGCA also is doing independent inquiry in the Air India Boeing matter. To tell you that DGCA on Saturday has already floated the order to Air India by stating that all the Boeing should be properly inspected, properly checked before taking off. But looks like it didn't happen in the case of Hong Kong Delhi bound flight, and that is the reason the emergency landing was done at Hong Kong just 9 minutes when the plane was airborne. Mid-air only 9 minutes there was a ECIPS issue, and immediately the emergency landing was done. All these issues are being independently investigated by DGCA, but this meeting, if we precisely talk about high-level meeting, it will only investigate the reasons behind Ahmedabad plane crash. But to tell our viewers that this is a serious issue with the Boeing, all the fleet of Boeing, be it 787, 7, 8, 9. All the fleets of the Boeing are continuously complaints are coming about the technical issues and technical snags and snaps in the aircraft. And at an extent and the intensity is so high that right now it's high time that all the Boeing should be properly checked, maintained, serviced, and only then it should fly and take the passengers. There's a sense of scareness also among the passengers that they don't want to take the Dreamliner flight of Air India. All these issues have to be kept in mind, and then only the flight should be asked to operate. So now DGC and BCAS, both the regulators, are independently investigating into that part of Air India Boeing, but this meeting is solely for the reasons behind the crash. Back to you.
Right, Harsha, thank you very much for getting us all those details. We are keeping a very close watch on that top story as the high-level meeting is currently underway. We, for now, move on to the other stories that we are tracking, and this is again in regard with the Air India tragedy that had happened. Now, the total number of DNA sample matched in the tragic Ahmedabad plane crash has now reached to 99, including that of former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani, with 64 bodies which have been handed over respectfully to the relatives. Now, family members of Vijay Rupani have reached the mortuary complex of the civil hospital, and this is a final journey that is being given to the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani, who lost his life in the tragic air tragedy that happened in Ahmedabad. The plane that was flying to London, remember, had crashed in Ahmedabad just moments after the takeoff, in 59 seconds, in fact, to be precise. On board was former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani. His DNA sample, we learned, have been matched, and now his final journey is taking place in Ahmedabad. Amit Shah, we learn, will be there. The Home Minister will be there to pay last respects to the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani. In fact, his family members, we learn, have also reached the mortuary site. It's an extremely tragic day that we have come through. Gopi, my colleague, is joining us live on the same. Gopi, take us through what are the scenes behind you. We learn you're reporting live from the civil hospital, and Vijay Rupani's family members have also reached the mortuary of the civil hospital. Take us through what's happening.
Well, Tanisha, just a short while back, we had another press conference done by the medical superintendent, where you have just mentioned the number of bodies which have been handed over to the respective families. It is 64, which includes one of that of former Chief Minister Vijay Rupani. Now, it was at around 12:30 that they started from Ahmedabad Civil Hospital, and from the Ahmedabad airport, his mortal remains have already reached reached at Rajkot's Hirasar airport, where there were many BJP leaders there who were receiving the mortal remains of Vijay Rupani. Let's tell our viewers that the final rites of Vijay Rupani are going to happen in Rajkot, where he'll first be taken at his residence in Rajkot, and from there his last rites will be happening at the Ramnathpara crematorium. But it's a 7-kilometer long procession which is going to take place. Let's remember the contribution of Vijay Rupani. He hails from Rajkot, precisely why the entire procession is planned at his ancestral house, and his final rites, his in fact final journey, is going to begin from his Rajkot residence, and the final rites would be done at the Ramnathpara crematorium, which is based in Rajkot. And in attendance would be the Union Minister C.R. Patil. This is what we are learning from our sources. Apart from that, Gujarat Ministers, Home Minister Harsh Sanghvi, as well as Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel will be there, as well as Home Minister Amit Shah will also be reaching after a short while in Rajkot to attend his last rites. Back to you.
Right, Gopi, thank you very much for getting us those details. We move on to the other breaking news coming in, and this is again in regard with the Air India crash that happened. Now, we learned that the second black box has been recovered from the north side area at around 1:15 p.m. today. A probe is underway in the Ahmedabad plane crash. The first black box, remember, was recovered in the weekend that just passed, and the second black box that we now know has been recovered from the north side area at around 1:15 p.m. today. A probe is now underway to ascertain what actually went wrong in the moment when the plane took off at around 1:39 p.m. to the time it crashed. What was the conversation that the pilots had with the ATC? Remember, a mayday call was given. The pilot had said that there was no thrust, and after that there was a connection loss. Second black box has been recovered. It becomes a very, very crucial evidence as far as the probe in the Ahmedabad plane crash is concerned. It is because it is going to give us details about what was the last conversation that happened inside the cockpit of the aircraft to the ATC, what actually went wrong and what was the problem in the aircraft AI-171.
क्या कुछ मिला है? सर्च ऑपरेशन आपकी टीम की तरफ से किया जा रहा था।
हमारे टीम की तरफ से सुबह, जैसे कि सुबह 6 बजे से मैं यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट हूँ, और हमारे इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट के 40 लेबर यहाँ पर प्रेजेंट है। एयरक्राफ्ट एक्सीडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन ब्यूरो की टीम का हम वेट कर रहे थे, और उनके इंस्ट्रक्शन मिलने पर हमारी टीम ने, जो कि हमारे 40 से ज़्यादा लेबर और हमारे इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट की पूरी टीम यहाँ पर तैनात थी, और हमारी टीम ने एफडीआर टाइप डिवाइस से कभी फाइंड आउट किया है। एआईबी और एयर इंडिया की टीम उसे इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए चेक करने के लिए लेके गई है। वो कंफर्म करके हमें बताएगी कि एग्जैक्टली उनको जो चाहिए था वो वही है कि नहीं है। दूसरा, जो भी हमारे यहाँ पर सोडियम हाइपोक्लोराइड से पूरी जगह का स्प्रे किया गया है, ताकि जो ये स्मेल है वो कहीं दूर तक फैले नहीं, और सबको एएमसी की तरफ से मास्क, ग्लव्स और सारे जो भी पर्सनल प्रोटेक्टिव इक्विपमेंट्स है वो सारे के सारे पुलिस स्टाफ को और यहाँ पर जो भी काम कर रहे हैं सारे स्टाफ को यहाँ पर दिया गया है।
ये बहुत बड़ी चीज है, क्योंकि एक ब्लैक बॉक्स जो पहले मिला था
जी,
इसे ढूंढा जा रहा था, क्योंकि जो खुलासे हैं यहीं से होंगे, तो आप कितनी बड़ी चीज मानते हैं?
वो मैं नहीं बता सकता। हमारा काम था कि वो चीज़ को ढूंढना और उसके लिए मैन पावर सारा लगाना। वो सारा का सारा मैन पावर लगा के कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ हमको मिली है। अब वो क्या है, अंदर कौन सी इन्फॉर्मेशन है, क्या डिटेल है, वो सारा एआईबी और एयर इंडिया इन्वेस्टिगेट करके हमको बताएंगे।
ये कहाँ से मिला एग्जैक्टली, ये बता दीजिए।
मलबे के अंदर से मिला है। अभी इसकी लोकेशन एग्जैक्टली जहाँ पर कॉकपिट क्रैश होके गिरी थी, वहाँ मलबे के नीचे दब गया था, वहाँ से मिला है।
आपका नाम बता दीजिए सर।
श्रेय कुमार सोनी, असिस्टेंट म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation.
Moving on, in the violence-hit district of Churachandpur, government job aspirants are facing a major competitive disadvantage due to inaccessibility of examination centers. Here's a quick report on all that you need to know about this.
Amid ongoing ethnic conflict in Manipur since May 3, aspirants have been forced to travel hundreds of kilometers outside the state to appear for exams such as SSC, NDA, NEET, UPSC and UGC, NTA. While in Imphal, the nearest exam center is just 62 kilometers away, ongoing unrest and movement restrictions have made it inaccessible. As a result, students are forced to travel as far as Aswal, Guwahati or Agartala, incurring high travel costs and enduring physical and mental stress. Students flag issues such as the lack of accommodation, unfamiliar exam environments, and the stress of long journeys which significantly affect their performance. The Zomi Students Federation continues to press the authorities to set up an examination center in Chura Chandpur. This is a demand that students say is long overdue and essential for academic equity.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a seat number that now carries a haunting legacy. 11A. Just another number to most travelers, but for two Air India flights decades apart, it's a chilling common thread in tragedies that shook the world. We uncover the connection between two devastating crashes separated by time but bound by mystery, and the passenger seat that survived both of them. This is the story of Miracle Seat 11A.
Everyone is terrified after watching the video of Air India 171 flight crash. It's the biggest air tragedy that India has witnessed. In fact, the entire world has witnessed it, and it is one of the most horrible crashes in the entire history of the world. Now, if you see that moment of crash, viewers, the ball of fire that aircraft turned into, there was no hope for anyone to survive. It was all charred, the bodies lied charred, and there was zero hope of anyone surviving. But God has its plans for at least one. There was one survivor in that plane, and that was seat number 11A, the passenger on seat 11A. We all have seen the horrific plane crash video, the moment of takeoff and when that plane crashes down, how the pilot was struggling to gain height, and it went down and it burst into a ball of flame. If you see the aftermath video, if you see the crash site, there were charred bodies. Those were really disturbing visuals, and there was no hope of anyone surviving. But there was one person who had the blessings of the God. It was the passenger who was sitting on seat 11A. But this brings to us what happened in 1998. Two plane crashes, decades apart, and one chilling common thread, seat 11A. Thai singer and actor Ruangsak Loichusak survived a deadly plane crash in 1998. His seat number was, guess which one? 11A. Yes, you heard that right. And fast forward to 2025, the deadly Air India plane crash shocked the entire country, shocked the world. But the lone survivor of this plane crash, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, was also seated on 11A. Call it fate, call it freaky coincidence, or just plain seat magic. Now, talking of Loichusak, he was on Thai Airways flight in 1998 when the plane crashed while attempting a landing in Surat Thani, a city in southern Thailand. The flight took off from Bangkok, but it stalled mid-air and crashed, killing 101 passengers, so massive casualty number. And after the crash, this singer was rescued and then taken to the hospital. Miraculously, Loichusak survived this crash. He was pulled out from the debris, rushed to the hospital, and he lived to tell the tale that haunted a nation. Now, viewers, this is the strikingly similar scene that played out in the case of Vishwas Kumar, the lone survivor of Air India 171 flight. He managed to open the emergency exit door. Those were the preliminary reports, but what you understand is that the entire portion where he was sitting, that seat had in fact broken off, and he landed somewhere else. But yes, he did see destruction all around. He did suffer some injuries. He was pulled out of the debris and then taken to the hospital, and he too now lives to narrate his ordeal. When the Thai actor heard about the sole survivor of Ahmedabad plane crash, he noticed this strange coincidence and he took to social media. He wrote, I quote him here, "The survivor from the plane crash in India was sitting in the same seat number as me, 11A, unquote. Now viewers, call it coincidence or fate. Seat 11A carries a strange kind of legacy, it seems, and now there is a lot of talk on the social media also about that seat. That was the 11A seat, and of course it's now known as the miracle seat.
And it's time for us to slip into a short break, but after the break we'll get you the top details on the big aviation issues that are recurring time and again, where smokes and sparks fly near wheels of Saudi Airlines plane while landing at Lucknow Airport. Also after the break we'll get you details of how Census 2027 process has begun officially.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अहमदाबाद प्लेन क्रैश में इंदौर की एक बहू की भी जान गई है। सैकड़ों लोग इसमें अपनी जान गंवाए हैं। बहुत ही दुखद हादसा है, लेकिन इंदौर की जो बहू है उनके घर में हमें हरप्रीत होरा जो बच्ची है वो अपने पति से लंदन मिलने जाना चाह रही थी, क्योंकि उनके पति का 16 जून को जन्मदिन था। हरप्रीत के ससुर जी हमारे साथ हैं, राजेंद्र होरा, उनसे हम बात करते हैं। सर, कैसे आपको कब फर्स्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन कब मिली इस हादसे की और आपकी बहू की?
सर, मीडिया के माध्यम से प्लेन क्रैश की जानकारी मिली, प्रथम वहीं से मिली। अब बिटिया उसी प्लेन में जा रही थी तो नैसर्गिक रूप से मन में डाउट हुआ, पर एक उम्मीद की किरण थी, क्योंकि पहले 30 लोगों का सुना, फिर 50 लोगों का, फिर संख्या बढ़ती चली गई। फिर
आपको वहां से किसका फोन आया जिसने जानकारी दी कि आपकी बहू भी नहीं रही?
ये न्यूज़ चैनल के माध्यम से कि 242 लोगों में से एक बचा, तो 241 का ही था और उनके फादर उनको छोड़ने गए थे।
Welcome back and thank you for staying with Republic. Now in a breaking news update that we are getting in, a demolition drive is commencing at Pastor Bajinder Singh's church, and this is happening in Mohali in Punjab, where the administration has reached to free the illegal occupation of the farmers' land by Pastor Bajinder Singh by forcefully occupying it to build a church. Now the police force was also present on the spot. In fact, our reporter Lalit has filed a report from Ground Zero on that. Let's have a look at that.
पास्टर बलजिंदर सिंह एक बार फिर विवादों में है। इस वक्त हम न्यू चंडीगढ़ मुल्लापुर में खड़े हैं और पीछे जो आप ये ज़मीन देख रहे हैं, फ़िलहाल आरोप यही है कि लीज़ पर ये ज़मीन है 2018 तक दी गई थी, लेकिन लगातार उसके बाद भी जो कंट्रोवर्शियल पास्टर बलजिंदर सिंह है उसने जो कब्ज़ा है वो नहीं छोड़ा है। फिलहाल आज यहाँ पर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है वो एक्शन लेने आई है। ज़्यादा बात करने इस वक्त हमारे साथ गांव के जो लोग हैं वो मौजूद, उनसे बात कर लेते हैं। पूरा मामला क्या है, ये ज़मीन कब तक लीज पे दी गई थी?
देखो 2018 की लीज थी। परली साइड का 18 मरले जो है वो हमारे भाई लखवीर सिंह लखा का है। हम लगातार कोर्ट में लड़ रहे हैं, सरपंच साहब हमारे साथ हैं, इनको तो अंदर घुसने नहीं देते। ये जो 20-25 बंदे बुलाए हैं, सुबह तक ये सारा खाली था, अब ये आए हैं यहाँ पे अंदर घुसने के लिए। ठीक है, मैंने जब इनकी गाड़ी रोकी है, मैंने पूछा कहाँ से आए हो, किसी को कोई जवाब नहीं है। क्या करने आए हो? हम तो जी वैसे ही आए हैं। ठीक है, फिर इन्होंने एक बंदा भेजा अंदर से, वो आके इस चीज़ को लीड कर रहा है जी ये यहाँ अंदर रहते हैं। इनके मिनिस्ट्री के कार्ड मैंने मीडिया में दिखा दिए हैं। आज ये जो इन्होंने लखवीर सिंह लखा को मारा, उसका सर फाड़ा, बैनीपाल की हाथ पैर तोड़े, आज ये वही करेंगे। मैं अपनी जत्थेबंदियाँ नहीं लेके आया हूँ, मैं तो बिल्कुल कानून के दायरे में हूँ। बिल्कुल ये कह रहा हूँ कि प्रशासन अपनी बनती ड्यूटी करे, हमारा कब्जा छुड़वा के हमें दे दे, पर प्रशासन इनको मौका दे रहा है। 2.5-3 घंटे से हम खड़े हैं, ना पुलिस यहाँ पे मौजूद है, ना कानगो साहब आ रहे हैं, ना मैजिस्ट्रेट साहब शायद अंदर हैं। मतलब क्या प्रशासन क्या चाहता है हमसे? टकराओ, फिर हमारे ऊपर इल्ज़ाम लगा देंगे ये तो खालिस्तानी होते हैं। हालांकि हमारा वो कोई नैरेटिव नहीं है, हम तो अपनी सिर्फ जगह छुड़वाने आए हैं। ये बंदे इकट्ठे कर रहे हैं, गाड़ियां भर भर के बंदे आ रहे हैं, इनके प्राइवेट बंदे वीडियोस बना रहे हैं, प्रशासन सोया हुआ है।
All right, time for us to slip into a short break again. But after the break, we'll get to the details of how major technical glitches have forced Air India Delhi-bound flight to return back to Hong Kong. Also, after the break is another aviation issue that occurred, and this was in Lucknow, where smokes and sparks fly near wheels of Saudi Airlines plane while landing, and this happened at the Lucknow airport. We'll get you details on the two big top stories, but right after a very short break.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते, जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
अहमदाबाद प्लेन क्रैश में इंदौर की एक बहू की भी जान गई है। सैकड़ों लोग इसमें अपनी जान गंवाए हैं। बहुत ही दुखद हादसा है, लेकिन इंदौर की जो बहू है उनके घर में हमें हरप्रीत होरा जो बच्ची है वो अपने पति से लंदन मिलने जाना चाह रही थी, क्योंकि उनके पति का 16 जून को जन्मदिन था। हरप्रीत के ससुर जी हमारे साथ हैं, राजेंद्र होरा, उनसे हम बात करते हैं। सर, कैसे आपको कब फर्स्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन कब मिली इस हादसे की और आपकी बहू की?
सर, मीडिया के माध्यम से प्लेन क्रैश की जानकारी मिली, प्रथम वहीं से मिली। अब बिटिया उसी प्लेन में जा रही थी तो नैसर्गिक रूप से मन में डाउट हुआ, पर एक उम्मीद की किरण थी, क्योंकि पहले 30 लोगों का सुना, फिर 50 लोगों का, फिर संख्या बढ़ती चली गई। फिर
आपको वहां से किसका फोन आया जिसने जानकारी दी कि आपकी बहू भी नहीं रही?
ये न्यूज़ चैनल के माध्यम से कि 242 लोगों में से एक बचा, तो 241 का ही था, और उनके फादर उनको छोड़ने गए थे।
Seen it, what it takes to report from the front lines. Accuracy, urgency, courage, responsibilities. At Republic School of Journalism, you'll be trained for that reality. It's not theory, it's live learning inside a working newsroom from the day one. If you want to report the truth when it matters the most, RSJ is where you begin. Course begins on June 30th. Apply now.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने। विमल में गुलिस्तां की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते, जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
15 साल हो गया उनको वहाँ पे, 10-15 साल से।
और इंडिया में कब से आए थे?
इंडिया यहाँ पे उनके मम्मी का हार्ट हो गया था बोल के उनको मिलने आए थे। तो 6 दिन में रिटर्न था उनका जाने का, तो 6 दिन में ये हादसा हो गया।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Republic TV with me, Akanksha Khajuria. We are keeping our focus in investigation as far as the biggest aviation tragedy in the history of the country is concerned. We'll get you more updates on that, but first up, as always, the headlines. Five days after AI 171 crash, investigation picks pace. DGCA, BCAS and Civil Aviation Secretary are holding key meeting at MHA. "99 samples of AI 171 crash victims matched. 64 bodies have been handed over to the king of the victims. Major technical glitch forces Air India Delhi-bound flight to return to Hong Kong. Smoke and sparks fly near wheels of Saudi airplane while landing at the Lucknow airport. Women allegedly assaulted by a Rapido bike driver near a footwear showroom in Bangalore. Prime Minister Modi received ceremonial welcome in Cyprus, set to leave for Canada this evening. Well, West Asia is on the boil again. In the last 4 days, we have seen attacks and counter-attacks as far as Iran and Israel is concerned. In fact, we have a breaking news coming in for you. The Israel Air Force destroyed more than 20 surface-to-surface missiles last night before they were launched towards the state of Israel by Iran. The Israeli Air Force completed several waves of strikes overnight, targeting 100 military targets in Isfahan, that is in central Iran. Now, as a part of the strikes, 50 fighter jets and aircrafts identified and struck missile storage sites of surface missile launchers that were ready to launch towards the state of Israel, and command centers where launch squads were preparing to carry out launches towards the territory of Israel. These are the fresh videos that have been released by IDF that you can see on the screen right there. So Israel claims that these are the areas that they have attacked. It mentions Tehran, which is the capital, Tabriz, which has the nuclear research center, which was attacked 4 days back, Kermanshah, which has a missile base as well. All right, on the screen, in fact, you can see these are the visuals of Israel attacking central Iran. In fact, as far as central Iran is concerned, they have attacked Isfahan area, which also has a nuclear facility. But last night, what we are being told is that Israeli Air Force destroyed more than 20 surface-to-surface missiles before they were launched towards the state of Israel. They have completed several waves of strikes overnight, targeting 100 military targets in central Iran, and this area is Isfahan, as you can see on the left side of the screen as well. I'm being joined by my colleague Kruthart, who joins us from the newsroom. Kruthart, in the last 24 hours, in fact, we have again seen attack and counter-attack by Israel and Iran. But now Israel going on to say that they have attacked the surface-to-ground system. They have targeted specific areas in Iran. Give us more details on that.
Indeed, and it has been the Shahid missiles, the surface-to-surface ballistic missiles of Iran that have been flying all the way over Iraq and Jordan and making their way to the night sky of Tel Aviv, Haifa and all the Israeli cities over the last 3 nights that we have seen. In particular, the Operation Rising Lion was initially started to decapitate the nuclear capability and the assembly capability of Iran to make a nuclear bomb. Now, the second stage of the attack, as was also said by the Israeli ambassador in the exclusive interview with Republic just a few days ago, is to decapitate the capacity of Israel to manufacture and store its ballistic missiles. And this is now in conjunction to now, as we are getting into the third phase of Operation Rising Lion, after a direct strike on the military command structure, after direct strikes on the nuclear facilities, Israel last night targeted more than 50 areas, in particular their ballistic missile launch capabilities. This is the biggest attack that has been launched directly on the ballistic missile launch capability of Iran. In total, the information that we are receiving as per the accounts of the IDF or the Israel Defense Forces is that 20 new launchers were destroyed in the strikes last evening with more than 50 fighter jets involved. Now, the IDF says that it has established full aerial superiority over Iran, and rightly so, because Israel has a much more modern air force as compared to Iran. And in this case, we have seen that Israeli fighter jets have been very active in the Iranian airspace. On the first night of the attack, Akansha, you would recall that radar sites in particular were targeted by Israel in a step up so that they can establish this air superiority in Iran and decapitate the launching capacity of ballistic missiles.
Absolutely.
20 launchers
in
destroyed
fact,
is a huge
Krutat,
number.
stay on with us. We have fresh visuals coming in as far as the attack on the US Embassy in Israel is concerned. Let's have a look at those visuals on your screen. In fact, just in a while, we'll show you those visuals of a United States Embassy branch in Tel Aviv, which was hit in the Iranian missile attack as military conflict between Israel entered the fourth day. As you can see in the visuals, these are the visuals of the shattered, broken glasses and window panes there on the ground. These are the visuals from the US Embassy that has been attacked. Minor damage has been reported to the US Embassy. After that, in fact, a decision has been taken place to close all the embassy in the country and its consulate as well. Let me again bring in my colleague Krutat. You've been tracking this story very closely. Earlier, in fact, this day, we saw the attack on US Embassy in Israel as well. And this comes, in fact, a day after Trump warned Iran of any such attempt as far as United States is concerned. Give us more details about this Iran attack on the embassy there.
Akansha, if the reports are confirmed that the US Embassy, in fact, in Israel was hit by a projectile that came from Iran, then this is going to be one of the most biggest escalation that we have seen in this entire conflict. Right from day one, the very first day of the attacks, it has been very clearly made by the Secretary of State of the United States, Marco Rubio, that US is not directly involved in the actions taken by Israel militarily against Iran. Just last evening, we also had US President Donald Trump issuing a very stern warning to the Iranian regime, saying that any targeting of US officials in the entire region will be met with a very unprecedented military response. Now, that response coming in from the world's strongest military is also a cause of severe concern. So far, the information that we have is that US has not entered the theater of war in the Middle East. It has had significant presence. We also saw on the eve of the attacks on 12th of June, US had in fact asked all non-essential personnel from its embassy and military bases in Bahrain, Kuwait, Iraq and all the neighboring countries to evacuate the region, which is why it is believed that US is militarily prepared to retaliate in circumstances when Iran actually transgresses upon its own embassies or its own military infrastructure in the entire region. We are waiting an official confirmation from Washington, which we expect to come later in the day. However, if true, if Iran's embassy, Iran has indeed attacked, and if any damage is reported on the American embassy, be prepared to expect any proportionate or even disproportionate response from the Trump administration.
Absolutely, Krutat. Keep tracking those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Now, shifting our focus back to India, to Uttar Pradesh. In fact, look at these shocking scenes from Uttar Pradesh, Hardoi. A routine stop to fill CNG turns into a scene straight out of a crime thriller. A woman pulls out a revolver and aims it at the petrol pump salesman. She threatened the person and said that I will shoot you with so many bullets that even the family members will not recognize you. An FIR has been filed against Ariba Khan, the lady that you can see on the screen, and two others. The revolver has also been seized as far as this entire incident in UP's Hardoi is concerned. Let me go across to my colleague Raghavendra, who continues to track this story. Raghavendra, very shocking visuals are coming from Hardoi there. A woman pulls up the revolver onto the chest of the salesman. What really happened there? Tell us. And what was the complaint of the salesman?
बिल्कुल, देखिए ये जो घटना है वाकई में चिंताजनक घटना है कि जिस तरह से उत्तर प्रदेश में यह दावा किया जाता है कि यहाँ कानून व्यवस्था का राज है और उसके लिए सरकार काम भी कर रही है। ऐसे में इस तरह का ये जो वीडियो आ रहा है यह चिंता पैदा कर रहा है कि एक महिला जो है वो इस तरह से खुलेआम पिस्टल कैसे किसी के ऊपर तान सकती है। लेकिन ऐसा हुआ है, वीडियो वायरल हो रहा है, अब इस पर कार्रवाई भी हो रही है। FIR हुई है, कहीं न कहीं इन्होंने जो अपने हाथ में कानून लिया है, पिस्टल की भी जांच होगी, सरकारी लाइसेंस है कि क्या है और कैसे इनके पास पिस्टल पहुंची, और कहीं न कहीं इस पर जो कानूनी जो शिकंजा है वो कसने जा रहा है। FIR हो चुकी है इनके ऊपर। लेकिन इस तरह की जो प्रवृत्ति है, यानी कि जो वीडियो में जो सीन आए हैं, जो घटना हुई है, उत्तर प्रदेश में इसकी कोई जगह नहीं है, क्योंकि जैसा कि मुख्यमंत्री ने कहा कि यहाँ पे माफियागिरी नहीं चलेगी। अगर कोई माफियागिरी करेगा तो वो मिट्टी में मिलेगा या जेल के अंदर जाएगा, सलाखों में जाएगा। तो इस तरह के दृश्य जो आए, इस तरह की जो गुंडई दिखाने की कोशिश की गई, उससे क्या लोग दिखाना चाह रहे हैं, क्या लोग बताना चाह रहे हैं, क्या वो महिला कहना चाह रही थी, क्या मैसेज देना चाह रही थी, उनके वर्ताव से ऐसा लगा कि जैसे कोई कानून का राज ही नहीं है, जो चाहेंगी वो कर लेंगी, इस तरह का दृश्य देखा गया। लेकिन अब वहां पर पुलिस सख्त है, FIR हो चुकी है, कहीं न कहीं अब एक्शन होगा।
Absolutely. So FIR has been registered in this case. It remains to be seen when this lady that you can see on the screen will be arrested. Now shifting our focus to the United States. During the ongoing protest in LA of California, police were seen using tear gas to disperse anti-Trump protesters on Saturday. In fact, there were protesters who made their way to the streets, parks and plazas across the country to protest against President Donald Trump and support the protection of democracy and immigration rights. Here's more.
People were seen coming together in public areas across the United States to support the protection of democracy and immigrant rights. The LA protests have recently heated up with No Kings rallies kicking off. A man passed away during the No Kings protest in Salt Lake City. He is believed to be part of a peacekeeping team for the No Kings protest. The police have taken the 24-year-old alleged rifleman, Arturo Gamboa, into custody on Saturday evening. Protests were also witnessed in Los Angeles on the same day. The police were present on horseback and on foot. Tear gas was also used to disperse the protesters. In Northwest Washington's Logan Circle, about 200 protesters assembled and chanted, "Trump must go now." Organizers handed out Little American flags while others flew their flags upside down, conveying a sign of distress. During the protest, Mexican flags, which have become a fixture of the Los Angeles protest against immigration raids, also appeared in some demonstrations. As per reports, in light of the protest, US President Donald Trump has directed immigration and customs enforcement to expand deportations in Democratic-run cities, undeterred by protests.
Breaking news coming in from Uttarakhand. A case has been registered against helicopter service operating firm Aryan Aviation Private Limited for negligence in connection with the chopper crash near Kedarnath. Remember, it took place yesterday, which killed all the 7 people on board, including a 2-year-old child and the pilot of that helicopter. The Bell 407 helicopter crashed due to bad weather in the forest of Gauri Mai Khark, which was between Gaurikhund and the Kedarnath. It belonged to Aryan Aviation Private Limited. What we're learning is that the FIR has accused the operator of gross negligence and listed several lapses. It said that the helicopter took off 50 minutes before the allotted time during condition of poor visibility caused by the cloud and fog. Let me go across to my colleague Ratan Negi, who's been tracking this story since yesterday. Ratan, what we're learning is that a case has been registered as far as the helicopter crash is concerned, but the angle of negligence has come to the fore, that this helicopter in fact flew 50 minutes before the time, and in fact that it also flew during the poor visibility that we also saw in the visuals as well. There was fog, there were clouds in that area, and despite that, the helicopter took that flight. Give us more details about the FIR in this case.
उत्तराखंड के मुख्यमंत्री धामी ने साफ तौर पर कहा था जब ये हादसा हुआ था कि चाहे वो संस्था हो या व्यक्ति हो, जो भी दोषी होगा उसके खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी। और देर शाम तक ये रिजल्ट निकल कर आया। केदारनाथ हेलीकॉप्टर केस में आयरन हेली के एविएशन के 2 मैनेजर पर केस दर्ज हो चुका है। जो जानकारी यहाँ पर निकल कर आई है, तहरीर जो दी गई है, तहरीर में लिखा है कि डीसीजी और यूकाटा ने जो जारी की एसओपी होती है फ्लाइंग स्लाइड के हिसाब से उड़ान भरने को कहा था। सुबह का जो दौर था उस वक्त मौसम खराब था, धुंध छाई हुई थी, तो आखिर उन्होंने उड़ान क्यों भरी, इसके ये दोषी पाए गए।
All right, Ratan, we'll keep tracking this story. In fact, we have visuals coming in from Cyprus where Prime Minister is there on a 2-day visit. As you can see in the visuals, that is Prime Minister along with the External Affairs Minister there with the President of Cyprus as well. In the visual, speaking to the leaders during the day. He also met with the business leaders in Cyprus too, and this visit is very important for the bilateral relationship between the two countries, sending out a message, diplomatic message to Turkey as well, which in fact has 1/3 of the island to itself. And after Operation Sindoor, when Turkey supported Pakistan, this is now a strong message that is being given by the Prime Minister. There in the visual, you can see the Prime Minister with the President of Cyprus. In fact, earlier today, Prime Minister received the Grand Cross of Order 3, the highest civilian honor of Cyprus during his visit to the country. And this is any Prime Minister's visit to the country after 23 long years. This is a very, very crucial visit by him. And in the visuals, you can see him taking a tour of the area, speaking to the top leaders of the country, including the President of Cyprus, and looking there at the city as well. All right, so this, in fact, this visit is also giving a big message to Turkey as well. Cyprus, remember, after the Pahalgam attack, had supported India as far as on terrorism is concerned. It is an ally of India as well. And there you can see visuals of the Prime Minister with the President right there taking tour of that area. As I told you earlier in the day, he received the highest civilian honor of Cyprus. And in the evening, what we are learning is that he will head towards Canada for the G7 summit. He is on a 3-nation tour. The first one, as you can see, is in Cyprus, followed by Canada and then Croatia. All right, there in the visuals, you can see him there with the top leaders. Earlier the day, he also met with the business leaders. This is the first foreign visit in the last 23 years, and a strong message by this is also being given to Turkey, because Turkey backed Pakistan. It holds 1/3 of this island as well, and through this visit, Prime Minister is sending out a very, very strong diplomatic messaging as well. In fact, he's accompanied by the External Affairs Minister and Ajit Doval as well. And this nation visit is very important to enhance the bilateral relationship, the economy of the both country and the businesses as well. And hence, earlier in the day, he met with the business leaders there as well. Now he's being shown around the capital city there by the top leaders. All right, so after this, what we are learning is that Prime Minister will be leaving for Canada in the evening to attend the G7 summit. But before that, this is a very crucial visit by the Prime Minister to Cyprus, this island nation where Prime Minister is currently there. In the morning, he in fact met with the President and also with the business leaders there. After this, Prime Minister will be heading towards Canada for the G7 summit. He's been invited by Canadian Prime Minister. The nation has been recognized as the 5th largest economy, key partners in Indo-Pacific region. Focus will be on energy, minerals, trade, etc. And India is emerging as the strategic voice from the global south. Also, this visit is very important as far as the G7 visit is concerned. It will be to counter China through supply chains. Discussion on US-led trade perfectionism will also take place, and the focus will be on the tariff impacted globally, enhance economic cooperation via G7, secure tech, mineral, infra lines as well. All right, G7 is very important because it will help in expansion of the G7 Global South Cooperation. India will push for regional connectivity. Focus will be on critical mineral framework and to promote the Indo-Pacific Economic Corridor as well, and strategic projects under the G7 partnership. So a lot on the table as far as the G7 is concerned, and all eyes will be on Prime Minister's visit to Canada, where he will be welcomed by the diaspora, but the focus will be on the G7 summit that Prime Minister is all set to attend on the invitation of the Canadian Prime Minister, the newly elected Prime Minister of Canada. As far as G7 is concerned, on the top agenda is what we are learning, that Iran and Israel tensions will be the top agenda. Unified G7 stand on Middle East. Zelensky will also be joining the Ukraine talks. Push for durable peace mechanism and India's neutral voice for peace will be advocated during this very, very crucial visit to Canada. Also, as far as G7 is concerned, this will help in reviving the global partnership on WMDs, nuclear safety post-Ukraine conflict, secure material from rogue actors, and India's affirmation that there's a no-first policy. Multilateral safeguards also will be part of the discussion. So G7 summit is going to be very important as far as India is concerned, and Prime Minister will be heading to Canada today evening. All right, so as you can see in the visuals, Prime Minister is there in Cyprus, a very crucial meeting by the Prime Minister in the last 2 decades. He met with the President and the business leaders there. More and more visuals coming in from Cyprus. Now we're shifting our focus in the wake of the devastating Air India 171 crash near Ahmedabad. The frontline medical staff at the city's civil hospital recount their harrowing experience, from receiving the first wave of the injured passengers to working tirelessly throughout the night. Doctors and healthcare workers share their powerful first-hand account of this chaos, the urgency and the emotional it took on them. As victims poured in, the hospital turned into a warlike zone. Stretched resources, non-stop emergency and heartbreaking moments were witnessed there. This ground report sheds light on the human side of the disaster response. Have a look.
एम्बुलेंस देखिए जो इस समय सामने खड़ी है, ये एम्बुलेंस सबसे पहले कहा जा रहा है कि हादसे के बाद अंदर पहुंची मदद के लिए। लगभग 35 108 की एम्बुलेंस यहां से जाती है, और जो शख्स और जो टीम यहां से गई, पहले मैं आपको दिखा दूं, यही वो शख्स हैं और यहाँ पर ये सभी लोग बैठे थे। कल जब ये हादसा हुआ तो पूरी टीम यहाँ पर 108 की बैठी हुई थी। यहाँ पर इनको पहली कॉल प्राप्त होती है कि यहाँ पर एक बड़ा हादसा हो गया, बड़ा धमाका हो गया। उसके बाद पूरी टीम तुरंत एक्टिव होती है और लगभग 35 से 40 एम्बुलेंस लगातार वहाँ से जाके डेड बॉडी लेकर आते हैं। रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चलाया जाता है। लेकिन जिस शख्स के पास पहली कॉल आई और इस ऑपरेशन को आगे शुरू कैसे किया गया, कैसे पहला एम्बुलेंस पहुंचा, क्या इन लोग का रिएक्शन था, ये सब कुछ हम जानने के लिए यहाँ पर पहुंचे हुए हैं। सर, क्या हुआ था सबसे पहले?
मेरा नाम जितेंद्र शाही है, 108 का मैनेजर हूँ मैं। जैसे ही मेरे पास हमारे यहाँ के हमारी टीम यहाँ पे बैठ के लंच का टाइम था, वो बैठी थी, सडनली यहाँ पे धमाका हुआ और हमारे यहाँ सुपरवाइज़र और टीम दौड़ के वहाँ पे देखने गई। पूरा आग का ज्वार फट रहा था और तुरंत यहाँ पे हमारी 4 से 5 एम्बुलेंस खड़ी रहती है। तुरंत वो एम्बुलेंस को बुलाया गया वहाँ पे, और जो अंदर से रेस्क्यू करके जितने जो हॉस्टल के बच्चे या सराउंड के अगल बगल के जो थे उनको शिफ्ट कर रहे थे। और 1:41 पे यहाँ के हमारे अधिकारी ने फ़ोन किया हमको। हम हेड ऑफिस में थे, तुरंत फ़ोन आया कि सर कुछ धमाका हुआ है, शायद प्लेन क्रैश हुआ, क्या हुआ है पता नहीं, आप जल्दी से फायर ब्रिगेड और एम्बुलेंसेस को भिजवाइए। और तुरंत हमने फिर 25 एम्बुलेंस की व्यवस्था करे और 25 एम्बुलेंस को भिजवाए और फिर हमारी टीम तुरंत यहाँ पे पहुँच गई और ये जो पहला सर्वाइवर है जिसकी बात हो रही है विश्वास जी, उनको सबसे पहले कोई जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल या कोई रेस्क्यूअर फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर है तो ये मिस्टर सतिंदर सिंह संधू है, जिन्होंने सबसे पहले वहाँ पे घटनास्थल पे उस बंदे को लेके एम्बुलेंस में शिफ्ट किया। एम्बुलेंस में प्राइमरी केयर देके उसको सिविल हॉस्पिटल अहमदाबाद में शिफ्ट किया गया था।
अच्छा, वो जो वीडियो मैं आपको बगल में दिखाऊंगा, जब रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन की सबसे पहले शुरुआत हुई, जब पहला एम्बुलेंस पहुंचा तो ये शख्स आपको उसमें दिखाई दे रहे हैं, इनकी पगड़ी भी आपको दिखाई देगी। वो वहां पर कैसे जल्दी जल्दी एक्टिव होते हैं, एम्बुलेंस की सेवाएं पहुंचाते हैं अंदर। आपने तो सबसे पहले घटना देखा मेरे ख्याल से जब फोन गया।
हम लोग यहाँ पे खाना खा रहे थे, जैसे ही ब्लास्ट हुआ तो बाहर जगह देखा तो पूरा धुआं हो रहा था, तो हमने पास आकर साथ में जाकर एम्बुलेंस के साथ में हम लोग लेकर गए, स्टाफ भी साथ में था, तो देखा वहाँ पे पूरे सब जगह आग फैली हुई थी। तो 2 पेशेंट, एक सिक्योरिटी गार्ड था जो पूरा जला हुआ था, तो उसको हमने रेस्क्यू किया एम्बुलेंस के साथ में, तो एम्बुलेंस के साथ में सिविल में उसको शिफ्ट किया। बाद में एक दूसरा पर्सन था जो अंदर जाना चाहता था, उसको पकड़ के हम लोग बाहर लाए, उसको भी इंजरी हुई थी, उसको भी हमने शिफ्ट किया एम्बुलेंस के साथ में हॉस्पिटल में। बाद में पता चला कि वो एम्बुलेंस जो प्लेन क्रैश हुआ उसमें से वो पर्सन गिरे थे बाहर।
अच्छा, जो शख्स बच गए थे उनको भी आप ही लोग रेस्क्यू करके लाए थे?
With this, we're taking a very short break. Coming up on the other side, smoke and sparks fly near wheel of a Saudi airline plane while landing at the Lucknow airport. Prime Minister Narendra Modi received ceremonial welcome in Cyprus. He's all set to leave for Canada in the evening. We'll get you details on this and much more after this very short break. Stay with us.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
अहमदाबाद प्लेन क्रैश में इंदौर की एक बहू की भी जान गई है। सैकड़ों लोग इसमें अपनी जान गंवाए हैं। बहुत ही दुखद हादसा है, लेकिन इंदौर की जो बहू है उनके घर में हमें हरप्रीत होरा जो बच्ची है वो अपने पति से लंदन मिलने जाना चाह रही थी, क्योंकि उनके पति का 16 जून को जन्मदिन था। हरप्रीत के ससुर जी हमारे साथ हैं, राजेंद्र होरा, उनसे हम बात करते हैं। सर, कैसे आपको कब फर्स्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन कब मिली इस हादसे की और आपकी बहू की?
सर, मीडिया के माध्यम से प्लेन क्रैश की जानकारी मिली, प्रथम वहीं से मिली। अब बिटिया उसी प्लेन में जा रही थी तो नैसर्गिक रूप से मन में डाउट हुआ, पर एक उम्मीद की किरण थी, क्योंकि पहले 30 लोगों का सुना, फिर 50 लोगों का, फिर संख्या बढ़ती चली गई। फिर
आपको वहां से किसका फोन आया जिसने जानकारी दी कि आपकी बहू भी नहीं रही?
ये न्यूज़ चैनल के माध्यम से कि 242 लोगों में से एक बचा, तो 241 का ही था, और उनके फादर उनको छोड़ने गए थे। वो छोड़ के निकले, कुछ दूरी पहुंचे थे, फिर उनको प्लेन हादसे की जानकारी लगी। फिर उनसे बातचीत करी तो उन्होंने बताया कि प्लेन क्रैश हो गया है, बिटिया उसी में ही थी।
16 तारीख को शायद हरप्रीत के जो हस्बैंड हैं रॉबी, उनका बर्थडे था, उनसे मिलने जा रही थी।
पहले 19 को जा रही थी, 16 को बर्थडे था, तो बेटे के साथ उसने प्लान किया कि यूरोप भी घूमेंगे साथ में हम, तो वो इस हिसाब से 12 तारीख को निकल गई थी। 15 तारीख को यूरोप घूमने की तैयारी थी उनकी। जी,
हादसे के लिए आप सर किसको जिम्मेदार मानते हैं? एयर इंडिया में पहले भी कई शिकायत।
I don't just report from courtrooms on verdicts, I decode them. From breaking news to complex legal verdicts, every word is backed by law. At the Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how to report on legal issues with accuracy and speed. The RSJ Diploma, starting on the 30th of June. Apply now.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
15 साल हो गया उनको वहाँ पे, 10-15 साल से।
और इंडिया में कब से आए थे?
इंडिया यहाँ पे उनके मम्मी का हार्ट हो गया था बोल के उनको मिलने आए थे।
हाँ।
तो 6 दिन में रिटर्न था उनका जाने का, तो 6 दिन में ये हादसा हो गया।
कहाँ से, अहमदाबाद की प्रॉपर रहने वाले?
नहीं वो एक्चुअली रहते हैं हम लोग बॉम्बे है क्या, और वाया फ्लाइट था, तो बॉम्बे से यहाँ आए थे, यहाँ से हम लोग को उनको लंदन जाना था, यूके जाना था।
तो उसमें छोटी बच्ची भी थी, मतलब कितने उम्र के लोग थे, उनकी उम्र क्या थी?
वो एक की 4 है और एक की शायद मेरे ख्याल से 8 है, 4 या 6 ऐसा कुछ है लड़की के।
कब से रह रहे थे, क्या करते थे वहाँ पे?
होटल मैनेजमेंट का ये था उनका जॉब, और 15 साल हो गया उनको वहाँ पे, 10-15 साल से।
अहमदाबाद प्लेन क्रैश में इंदौर की एक बहू की भी जान गई है। सैकड़ों लोग इसमें अपनी जान गंवाए हैं। बहुत ही दुखद हादसा है, लेकिन इंदौर की जो बहू है उनके घर में हमें हरप्रीत हो।
We don't just get you the headlines, we report on them. We get information from the highest level of sources. We get you news from the men in uniform, from those on the front. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how real reporting is done on the ground and in real time. The RSG Diploma course begins on June 30th. If you want to lead the story, start here. Five days after AI-171 crash investigation picks pace, DGCA, BCAS and Civil Aviation Secretary hold key meeting at the MHA. 99 DNA samples of AI-171 crash victims match, 64 bodies handed over to the kin. Major technical glitch forces Air India Delhi-bound flight to return to Hong Kong. Smoke and sparks fly near reels of a Saudi airplane while landing at the Lucknow airport Sunday. Woman illegally assaulted by a Rapido bike taxi driver near a footwear showroom in Jayanagar of Bengaluru. And Prime Minister Modi received ceremonial welcome in Cyprus, set to leave for Canada in the evening. An Air India Boeing 7878 Dreamliner flight AI-315 was en route from Hong Kong to Delhi when it experienced a technical issue mid-flight earlier morning. The flight then returned to Hong Kong, where the airport landed safely. Acting on standard safety protocols, the pilot decided to return to the point of origin rather than continue the journey. And this is yet another instance of Air India planes getting into this kind of technical snag. In fact, in this particular instance, the AI-315 faced fuel injection issues. Now, that's typically something which can become dangerous. For that, to understand that, we are joined in by aviation expert Subhash Goyal. And Mr. Goyal, gathering from whatever reports are coming in about this AI-315 Air India flight from Hong Kong to Delhi, there was some fuel injection issue that cropped up mid-air. Now, it can get scary if the engines are getting starved of fuel. The pilot, of course, took the right call by going back to the point of origin because that was closer. What could have possibly gone wrong?
Well, I cannot say because right now, once bitten, twice shy. After this tragic incident in Ahmedabad, all the airlines are very careful, and on small pretext, they are trying to double check and they are trying to be safe rather than being sorry, which is a good thing. because DGCA has also given instructions that you have to double check everything, particularly Boeing 787s. And not just this flight from Hong Kong, but even Saudia landed in Lucknow, even American Airlines turned back from midair, even Lufthansa turned back. So I think something is wrong somewhere. Either someone is, being overcautious, and which is the right thing to do, because, you cannot take chances now after this tragic incident. Every airline is becoming overcautious, and it is better to, even the smallest thing. Earlier, people were ignoring it, or they were saying that, okay. But now, I think the world has shaken after this incident, and everyone is extra cautious, which is a good thing.
Right. Good caution is good, of course, always. Better late than sorry. But stay with us, Mr. Goel. There is another aspect of this flight which experienced a mid-air technical issue prompting the aircraft to return to Hong Kong, which is the suspected malfunction was identified through the engine indication and crew alerting system, which displayed an alert for engine 2's fuel filter bypass. EICAS, as it is called, is a critical system that monitors various aircraft parameters, including engines, hydraulics, and fuel system, and alerts the crew to any deviations from normal operations. Upon receiving the alert, the flight crew prioritized passenger safety and decided to return to Hong Kong as a precautionary measure. All right, continuing with this, Mr. Goel, you heard that this is basically, the crew was alerted, as I understand from this description, about a malfunction in the fuel engine indication, and this is the system, but this was basically about fuel bypass, engine 2's fuel filter bypass, which means there was something which was causing trouble for the engine to receive fuel properly, right? As I understand it, it says engine 2's fuel filter bypass.
These are highly fly-by-wire computerized, machines, and everything gets an indication. The pilot gets an indication. What is baffling us is why on AI 171 the pilots could not get any indication, or by the time they got indication, it was too late. So we don't know. The whole thing will tell us.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we always come to believe that there are 30-odd computers that, these are highly technical and technologically advanced systems, and that these planes can really fly on their own with the press of a button, etc. But still, there have been crashes, Mr. Goel, with similar circumstances as were faced by the Hong Kong-New Delhi flight today. So let's understand. My colleague Tanisha joins us with more on what kind of failures have happened in similar situations. Tanisha, over to you.
Absolutely, Abhishek. Now, what we're talking about here is, like you were talking to Subhash Goel about how the engine had refused to take fuel, and that could have resulted in a major tragedy. Thankfully, it was averted. Now, let's have a look at when incidents like this, when engine failure like this was reported in the past, what tragedy it had led to. Number one was the AF447 crash that happened in 2009, where Air France pilot 447 crashed 2009. Now remember, it was because of the same incident, the same engine failure that we are reporting here in the Hong Kong-Delhi flight, that it had reported. The same failure was reported in 2009 as well, and that is when the Air France pilot had crashed. Moving on, the other one was AF447 crash 2009, where Airbus A330 lost airspeed and data mid-air. Now, this tragedy happened mid-air. Thankfully, what we're talking about here is the Hong Kong Delhi flight that was grounded back to Hong Kong because it had reported an engine failure. Had it been mid-air, it would have been a huge cause of concern, and it was not. So this is another incident where a similar kind of engine failure, remember, was reported, and another one was ECAM gave multiple conflicting warnings, and the crash that happened in 2009 is where we are talking about that the ECAM had given multiple warnings. Pilots misread alerts, entered stall. Now, these are several warnings that were given once the engine had failed. The pilots were given wrong communication, and that is what led to the tragic crash in the year 2009. The aircraft plunged into Atlantic Ocean. So that was the tragedy that happened. Remember, when a similar kind of engine failure was reported, like it was reported today in the Hong Kong to New Delhi flight. All the 228 passengers and crew that were on board had then died. Nobody was able to survive as it crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. Very fatal tragedy, viewers, that had come in the year 2009. Now, British Airways, 2008. This is another incident that dates back to 2008, where the British Airways flight 38 had crashed. In the year 2008, it was a Boeing 777 that faced fuel flow blockage. Remember, here as well, when we are talking about similarities, the engine had refused to take fuel, and that is when the flight had to be grounded to Hong Kong. In the same case, in 2008 as well, there was a similar situation that had come to fore. Ice buildup reduced engine thrust suddenly. Now, these were some of the crucial problems that the aircraft that crashed in 2008, that was the British Airways, faced when the engines had failed. There was no EICAS warning that was there given before the power loss. So these are very crucial points that have come to the fore. Once Air India and DGCA issues a detailed statement on what actually went wrong after the engine failure is when we get to know on what kind of similarities does the Hong Kong Delhi flight have to incidents like these. The aircraft, remember, the British Airways that crashed in 2008, the aircraft crash landed short of the runway. It was a very tragic incident that had happened. All of them survived, but aircraft was completely destroyed. So this was another incident came to fore in 2008. So we got your incidents from 2009, 2008. Now another incident that had come to fore was back in the year 1989, when it was a United Airlines tragedy. This happened, remember, in the year 1989, where United Airlines Flight 232 crashed in 1989. A similar kind of situation that we saw again in the Hong Kong Delhi flight had happened then in 1989. The DC-10 suffered mid-air engine failure. So engine failure is said to be most of the reasons why these tragedies happen, why the aircraft crashes. We got you 3 incidents starting from 2008, 2009, and now this one is from 1989. The hydraulic systems severed and it lost complete control. And remember, engine is a very crucial part as far as we talk about the aircraft, and several theories were also peddling as far as the Ahmedabad crash is concerned. And this engine failure had resulted in EICAS alerted but could not prevent the crash. Another tragic incident that had come to fore in the year 1989. The pilots used engine thrust to steer, but it was all in vain. So these are the 3 incidents that we've got to you. A very, very similar situation that happened today in the Hong Kong Delhi flight that happened in the past 3 years as well. However, a major tragedy was averted today. Abhishek.
Oh, yeah, I mean, absolutely. These clearly are examples of how, despite having best of systems, things can go wrong. Technology is not foolproof, and that's why you need to be on your guard. Thank you so much, Tanasha, with those details. In fact, we want to stay with the story. We want to get to you, viewers, what's the nation thinking. And so we're getting a caller from Abhijit Chaudhary from Kolkata. Abhijit, what do you want to share with us?
Hi, Abhishek.
Yes, Mr. Chaudhary, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, from the last few days after the incident happened, it appears that we are getting a bit scared, flying. But you must agree that flying is the safest mode of transport till date. Because I mean, people can get scared the way things are reported. I mean, it's okay that, the news you are reporting is that it must go to the airlines and the operators instead of the viewers. The viewers can get scared, I would say.
Yeah, you are right, absolutely, because it is always touted as the safest mode of transport, but the fact is that the survival rate is very low. If you meet with an accident, then the chances of surviving are very slim vis-a-vis other modes of transport. Sukanya from Mumbai joins us on the phone line. Sukanya, your thoughts? Abhijit was just saying that there is a sense of fear despite the fact that air travel seems to be the safest mode of transport in terms of the efficiency with which the aircrafts carry people. Sukanya.
Yes. Hi Abhishek. Hi everyone. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, please go ahead, Sukanya.
Yes. This is indeed a scary moment, tough phase for Indian civil aviation industry. But we cannot play with the lives of the people. Who are the players who are accountable? Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders need to be accountable for each and every life. When a carrier carries, they are not only carrying, people, they are carrying their lives. They are carrying nation's future, nation's present, and nation's past. So many doctors we have lost. So many, we had engineers, we had doctors, so many professionals we have lost. They're all national assets. So keeping all these things in mind, the Civil Aviation Ministry and all the stakeholders, they should be accountable and they should be made accountable, and they should see that if the AI, the flight, the Dreamliner is not working, what is the next best solution? If it is the ground GH, ground handling staff. And there are many articles which have been coming out in various publications that there are lines of sabotage, there are lines of other things. But whatever it is, we as travelers, we trust everyone. We trust the pilot. We risk our life because we have to travel, and now traveling is the new norm. Everything is spread across the globe, across India. We have to see our kith and kin, and our businesses are spread. Our kids are studying abroad. We have to see everyone. It's become a global family. We all become part of globe. So when we travel, there's each and every time the risk, the safety measures, SOPs, which have to be followed, which have to be really adhered to, has to be really looked into. And everyone, the stakeholders, they should take all the suggestions, whether it is, whenever yesterday also, I had taken a flight from Bangalore to Pune, and I found that, there are lackadaisical approach from the ground staff. They are not able to handle people's story.
Right.
They are not able, because the staffs are very less in ground. And they are very inexperienced.
Right.
So there is that the carriers today, whether it is Indigo or any other flight, they're all appointing very young people. Where is the training to them? So enough training, enough knowledge to be imparted.
Absolutely.
So all these things have to be. You cannot risk. But we are at mercy of you. So we understand your situation also. But all these issues, all these things need to be taken into consideration by all the stakeholders and to be implemented.
Absolutely, Sukanya. You have, in fact, along with Abhijit, really, expressed what's there in the minds of the people at large in the country, the concerns, the fears, and of course, the thought that authorities should be strict and authorities should be clear about what's going into the processes, have tight control over them. Moving on for now, in a chilling breach of prison security, political rivalries have turned violent inside Shivamoga Central Jail. A JDS worker was brutally attacked by fellow inmates in a clash that's now raising serious questions about VIP treatment and smuggled phones behind bars. Here's a quick report.
In a shocking incident from Shivamoga Central Jail, political rivalries have spilled dangerously behind bars. A JDS worker, Kiran Sethu from Bhadravati, jailed just yesterday in a violence case, was brutally assaulted by alleged Congress-affiliated inmates in what appears to be a full-blown political gang war. A viral video, reportedly filmed on a smuggled mobile phone, shows the horrifying assault. The footage has sparked serious concerns about a major security lapse inside the high-security prison. Questions have been raised on how did a mobile phone get inside, and if prison authorities are turning a blind eye or even offering VIP treatment to politically connected inmates. Public outrage is mounting, with calls for immediate action against negligent jail staff, and an official inquiry is expected.
In a tragic incident, a bridge over the Indrayani River near Talegaon in Pune collapsed, leaving 4 people dead and at least 51 injured. With 10 to 15 tourists fear trapped, rescue operations are currently underway with a quick response team reaching the site. In the wake of the disaster, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is currently in Cyprus, spoke with Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, who briefed him on the ongoing rescue and relief measures being taken to assist the affected.
मैं इस समय पुणे के इंद्रानी नदी मौजूद हूँ, सर्च ऑपरेशन की टीम के साथ मौजूद हूँ। तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं किस तरह से सर्च ऑपरेशन की टीम निकली हुई है। इंद्रानी नदी में सर्च किया जा रहा है कि यहाँ पे कोई व्यक्ति आके फंसा हुआ तो नहीं है। ये तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं किस तरह से जो लाइफ गार्ड की टीम है, रेस्क्यू की टीम है, उसके साथ मैं मौजूद हूँ। और इंद्रानी नदी का तस्वीर देखिए, सामने देखिए, वहाँ पर एक सर्च ऑपरेशन की टीम आ रही है सामने से, उधर से सर्च किया जा रहा है, जो कि जहाँ पे जो पुल का हादसा हुआ, जहाँ घटना हुआ, वहाँ से 1 किलोमीटर दूरी पर हम मौजूद है और नदी के अंदर मौजूद है। तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं किस तरह से दूसरी टीम सर्च करते हुए आ रही है। हम दूसरे साइड से जा रहे हैं, इधर से सर्च करते हुए जा रहे हैं और लगातार यहाँ पे सर्च ऑपरेशन शुरू है। जिस तरह से कल घटना हुई, जिस 3:30 बजे तकरीबन ये घटना हुई। तस्वीर देखिए, साथ में तस्वीर देखिए, तीसरी टीम ये देखिए किस तरह से सर्च ऑपरेशन के लिए इंद्रानी नदी में उतरी है और सर्च किया जा रहा है कि कोई व्यक्ति जो, क्योंकि घटना जो हुई है लगभग 1 किलोमीटर दूरी पर हुई है और नदी का बहाव देख सकते हैं, नदी का बहाव कितनी तेज है, क्योंकि लगातार बारिश हो रही है और बारिश होने की वजह से लगातार कहीं पानी तेज रफ्तार से बह रहा है। क्योंकि जिस तरह से कल घटना हुई 3:30 बजे, जिस तरह से पुणे के इंद्रानी नदी, ये मावल गांव है, जो कि गांव पे पर जो लोहे का ब्रिज था, और जिस तरह से कल वहां पे पर्यटक वहां पे इकट्ठा हुए, इसके बाद ब्रिज जो है एकाएक गिरी और इस हादसे में 4 लोग की मौत हुई है, 51 लोगों को बचाया गया है। हमारे साथ जो बचाव करने वाले जो टीम है हमारे साथ मौजूद है। आप लोग सर्च कर रहे हैं, क्या देख रहे हैं?
नमस्कार, वन्यजीव रक्षक मावल संस्था आमची रेस्क्यू टीम है। रेस्क्यू टीम पर आम्ही सर्च करते हैं। हमारा इधर रेस्क्यू टीम चल रही है। कल कम से कम 51 लोग बाहर निकले हैं और 4 लोग तो की डेथ हो गई है और आज सर्च ऑपरेशन कर रहे हैं कि कोई और आदमी गए नहीं रहेगा, तो किसी का मिसिंग कंप्लीट तो नहीं है, फिर भी हम सर्च कर रहे हैं कि कुछ रहेगा तो।
All right, that was the rescuer side, but what about the victims? Satya Prakash also spoke to some of those who got injured during that situation, and amidst NDRF rescue, some of them were brought out. Listen to what they had to say.
सर, हम लोग शादी में गए थे, आने का टाइम उधर गया, गाड़ी 4 के मेरा नदी के पड़ाल लगा दिया और उधर गया। 2 बजे कंप्लीट हो गई, 2-2:30 बजे का है ना टाइम। तो मैं बोला आदमी को, सब आ रहे, इतना आदमी मत खड़ा रहो। आदमी आई सुनता नहीं था, मेरा कोई सुनता नहीं था। 100 आदमी से ज़्यादा पब्लिक था उसके ऊपर,
ब्रिज के ऊपर।
हाँ, ब्रिज के ऊपर 100 आदमी के ज़्यादा पब्लिक था, आने 7 गाड़ी था उसके ऊपर। हाँ,
ये लोहे के ब्रिज पे सारे लोग खड़े थे,
पूरा खड़ा था पूरा। आदमी बोलता है ना, उसको गाड़ी पुल हल रहा है, वो कौन नहीं सुना था। सब आदमी के नीचे गया, मेरे सामने एक पत्थर लग गया, जागे पे गया वो। हाँ,
क्या हालात थे उस समय जब ये ब्रिज गिरा? तो क्या हालात थे? लोग चिल्ला रहे थे?
हाँ, बहुत चिल्ला रहा था, साहब मेरे को बचा दो भगवान, मेरे को बचा दो भगवान। सब बोला था बचा दो, सब आदमी। मैं भी बोला था भगवान को बचा दो मेरी देवी का माता का। मेरा पाई कट हो गया, हाँ, टाच है ना, कट हो गया मेरा पूरा। हाँ, तो मेरा दोनों पाई नीचे गया था, पुल के नीचे। हाँ मैंने ऊपर खींच दिया, मेरे पास गाड़ी था मेरे आंख पे ऊपर।
कौन सी गाड़ी थी?
2 व्हीलर गाड़ी थी, स्कूटी। हाँ वो मेरे आंख पे था, मैं साइड पे गाड़ी दबा दिया कैसे तेरे, मेरे आंख पे दर्द था, मैं साइड पे दबा, मैं ऊपर पाई नहीं, ऊपर आता नहीं मेरा पाए, उसका सीमेंट का बोझा मेरे ऊपर आ रहा था। वो मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा, पाए तो कुछ भी होने दो, आप निकलना मांगता ऊपर।
एक दूसरे के ऊपर गिरे थे?
हाँ बहुत गिरा था, सब आदमी गिरा है, मेरे आदमी से 2 आदमी गिरा था।
लोग बह के भी आगे गए थे नदी में?
हाँ बहुत गए ना नदी, पानी में बहुत गए ना आदमी, 25 आदमी पानी में गए, आदमी 25 आदमी गए पानी में गुआ के।
इस हादसे को किसके जिम्मेदार मानते हैं?
अभी आता जिम्मेदार वो सरकार को, पुल बोला था सरकार की क्या चुकी नहीं, वो ग्राम पंचायत की चुकी नहीं, ग्राम पंचायत ने 2 बार बोर्ड लगा दिया है, पुल धोखेदायक है, पुल गिरने वाला है, दर दिन बोला था पुल धोखेदायक है, गिरने वाला है, दर दिन सांगता था, हम लोग भी बोलता, सब लोग को हम उधर रहता है, हम दर दिन बोलता है पुलों को खड़ा मत रहो, हमारा 2-3 बार झगड़ा हो गया उसके साथ, आदमी से था, वो बोल रहा है होने दे, कुछ होने दे।
बाहर के जो लोग आते हैं घूमने के लिए?
हाँ बाहर आते हैं घूमने के लिए, वो बाहर आते ना घूमने के लिए, उसने वही था उसका।
तो वहाँ पे ब्रिज पे जो लोहे का ब्रिज था, वहाँ पे जो भीड़ इकट्ठा हो गई, लोग वहाँ खड़े होकर सेल्फी भी खींच रहे थे।
और बहुत सेल्फी खींचा था, उसके पुल के ऊपर फोटो निकाल रहा था, और मैं बोला अरे 100 आदमी पुल के ऊपर, तुम नीचे मत जाओ, साइड में खड़ा रहो, पीछे रहो। आदमी सुनता नहीं था हमारा।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass-comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
15 साल हो गया उनको वहाँ पे, 10-15 साल से।
और इंडिया में कब से आए थे?
इंडिया यहाँ पे उनके मम्मी का हार्ट हो गया था बोल के उनको मिलने आए थे। तो 6 दिन में रिटर्न था उनका जाने का, तो 6 दिन में ये हादसा हो गया।
कहाँ से? अहमदाबाद की प्रॉपर रहने वाले?
नहीं, एक्चुअली रहते हैं हम लोग बॉम्बे है क्या, और वाया फ्लाइट था, तो बॉम्बे से यहाँ आए थे, यहाँ से हम लोग को उनको लंदन जाना था, UK जाना था।
तो उसमें छोटी बच्ची भी थी, मतलब कितनी उम्र के लोग थे? उनकी उम्र क्या थी?
वो एक की 4 है और एक की शायद मेरे ख्याल से 8 है, 4 या 6 ऐसा कुछ है लड़की के।
कब से रहते थे, क्या करते थे वहाँ पे?
होटल मैनेजमेंट का को ये था उनका जॉब। और
आपकी फेवरेट हुंडई कार्स पर मिल रही है अमेजिंग डील्स। वैसे लोगे तो आप हुंडई ही, चाहे दिल की सुनो या डील्स की, तो जल्दी चले आओ हुंडई शोरूम।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
अहमदाबाद प्लेन क्रैश में इंदौर की एक बहू की भी जान गई है, सैकड़ों लोग इसमें अपनी जान गंवाए हैं। बहुत ही दुखद हादसा है, लेकिन इंदौर की जो बहू है उनके घर में हमें हरप्रीत होरा जो बच्ची है वो अपने पति से लंदन मिलने जाना चाह रही थी, क्योंकि उनके पति का 16 जून को जन्मदिन था। हरप्रीत के ससुर जी हमारे साथ हैं, राजेंद्र होरा, उनसे हम बात करते हैं। सर, कैसे आपको कब फर्स्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन कब मिली इस हादसे की और आपकी बहू की?
सर, मीडिया के माध्यम से प्लेन क्रैश की जानकारी मिली, प्रथम वहीं से मिली। अब बिटिया उसी प्लेन में जा रही थी, तो नैसर्गिक रूप से मन में डाउट हुआ, पर एक उम्मीद की किरण थी, क्योंकि पहले 30 लोगों का सुना, फिर 50 लोगों का, फिर संख्या बढ़ती चली गई। फिर
आपको वहां से किसका फोन आया जिसने जानकारी दी कि आपकी बहू भी नहीं रही?
ये न्यूज़ चैनल के माध्यम से कि 242 लोगों में से एक बचा, तो 241 का ही था, और उनके फादर उनको छोड़ने गए थे। वो छोड़ के निकले, कुछ दूरी पहुंचे थे, फिर उनको प्लेन हादसे की जानकारी लगी। फिर उनसे बातचीत करी तो उन्होंने बताया कि प्लेन क्रैश हो गया है, बिटिया उसी में ही थी।
16 तारीख को शायद हरप्रीत के जो हस्बैंड हैं रॉबी, उनका बर्थडे था, उनसे मिलने जा रही थी।
हाँ जी, पहले 19 को जा रही थी, 16 को बर्थडे था, तो बेटे के साथ उसने प्लान किया कि यूरोप भी घूमेंगे साथ में हम, तो वो इस हिसाब से 12 तारीख को निकल गई थी। 15 तारीख को यूरोप घूमने की तैयारी थी उनकी। जी,
हादसे के लिए आप सर किसको जिम्मेदार मानते हैं? एयर इंडिया में पहले भी कई शिकायतें आती रही हैं, तो इस हादसे का जिम्मेदार किसे मानते हैं आप?
सर ये तो मैं नहीं कह सकता, पर ऐसा पूरा जानकारी है कि इससे अच्छा बोइंग कोई सी भी नहीं है, कोई सा भी नहीं है। पता नहीं क्यों ये दुखद घटना हुई, किस कारण से हुई, इसके बारे में कैसे कह सकता हूँ मैं, टेक्निकल जानकारी नहीं है सर मुझे।
दोनों इंजन फेल हुए एक साथ।
हाँ।
On prime time, we're not just reading the news, we are leading it with responsibility. Every night, we're asking tough questions, breaking the biggest stories, and setting the national agenda. At Republic School of Journalism, you will learn how to front the news with confidence, clarity, and conviction. RSJ Diploma begins June 30th. Your prime time starts here.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome to this Monday 4 p.m. live and breaking, and even as investigators pick up the threads and the probe picks pace on the crash of AI 171 flight in Ahmedabad, any other incidents that are getting reported about technical snags are sending jitters around the nation. That's our focus. Let's begin with the headlines. 5 days after AI 171 crash, investigation picks pace. DGCA, BCAS and Civil Aviation Secretary hold key meeting at the Ministry of Home Affairs. "99 DNA samples of AI 171 crash victims matched, 64 bodies handed over to the kin." Major technical glitch forces Air India Delhi-bound flight to return to Hong Kong. Smoke and sparks fly near wheels of Saudi airline plane while landing at the Lucknow airport. A woman allegedly assaulted by a Rapido bike taxi driver near a footwear showroom in Jayanagar, Bengaluru. Prime Minister Modi receives a ceremonial welcome in Cyprus, set to leave for Canada in the evening. Israel's military has said that it has hit command centers of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps following days of attacks focused on Tehran's nuclear program. Senior leadership of and infrastructure. The IDF eliminated 4 senior Iranian intelligence officials, including the head of the IRGC's intelligence organization. Yesterday, fighter jets guided by precise IDF intelligence struck a structure in Tehran housing top Iranian intelligence officials. Iranian strikes overnight killed several people, while several Tel Aviv buildings not far from the US consulate have been destroyed. Meanwhile, President Trump nixed Israel's plans to kill Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, according to one US official, calling Iran's leadership weak. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu suggested in a Fox News interview on Sunday that the conflict could result in a regime change. This is on the back of 4 days of intense war that's been going on between the two nations, and even as Israel has succeeded in eliminating almost the entire leadership of the Iranian military, even Iran has successfully launched over 200 missiles on Israel, and this time hitting many of the targets. In fact, Israel for the first time could be suffering some casualties also. All right, staying with the story, a massive fire has erupted at an oil field in Iran following an Israeli airstrike. Visuals show thick plumes of black smoke rising high into the sky, with emergency crews rushing to the scene. The cause of the blaze is still under investigation. These are pictures of the huge blaze in Iran and carried out by Israel. And this is essentially a result of one of the Israeli warheads hitting an oil depot. More visuals of the same strikes have ignited a massive fire at a residential building in Israel. Visuals show flames ripping through multiple floors as residents scramble to evacuate. These are pictures of a residential building in Israel hit by Iran and on fire. And of course, the residents were evacuated. Israel follows very strict safety drills where every building has a bunker, and fire crews are on the ground. We are being told these are of course pictures from earlier, and the blaze. They are still battling with the blaze. It's not controlled yet. These are pictures from June 15. Another set of visuals from the theater of war in West Asia. These are from earlier, and these are fresh pictures that we have received, but these are from earlier, and they show the scale of the warhead which has landed and struck. These are pictures of Israeli strikes that have rocked Tehran, and with explosions reported near strategic military sites in the city. The attacks have sparked panic and heightened tensions in the region as Iran scrambles to respond. No official word yet on casualties insofar as this particular strike is concerned, but of course Iran says that it has lost over 200 plus of its citizens to Israeli airstrikes. Another round of pictures. Israel has launched missile strikes on Iran, targeting key military sites in central provinces. The Israeli Defense Forces claim missile launchers and weapon depots were destroyed in the operation. This is essentially Israel targeting military sites to downgrade Iranian capacity to hit back, which of course Iran has been doing. All this happening in the midst of an ongoing escalation between the two sides. But we are staying with this story. More breaking news development. The Israeli Air Force has carried out a major strike on Iran, hitting around 100 military targets in Isfahan this time. The IDF says over 50 fighter jets destroyed missile storage sites and launchers minutes before a planned attack on Israel, according to the IDF. 1/3 of Iran's missile launchers have now been dismantled. That seems like a massive Israeli strike which has taken down 1/3 of Iran's missile launchers, thus denuding and debilitating Iranian capacity to hit back and carry out retaliatory strikes on Israel. Okay, we have, in fact, a senior journalist from Israel, Nick Kolyothin, joining us. live on the story. Nick, we are seeing pictures. We also have, I should introduce Yasser Nazifi Gilwan. He's a Tehran-based journalist, so we effectively have representatives, both Israel and Iran, on our broadcast now. I would begin with you, Nick, first, since I introduced you first. For the first time, we have seen the kind of strikes that Israel is facing. The famed Iron Dome and the Arrow Shield, they seem not to be succeeding as much as they should vis-a-vis the Iranian strikes.
Yes, that's right. Maybe Iran using more sophisticated missiles, big ballistic missiles with a high speed, and they are overwhelming the Israeli defense system, so they can't intercept 100% of the rockets. But yet Israel has 4 different layers of defense, and if it crossed all of them, it hit on the ground. As you can see here behind me, this is the center of Tel Aviv, and this is the damage of just one ballistic missile that hit here tonight. And you can see how much of the destruction here behind me. Those are residential buildings in the center of Tel Aviv. Hundreds of families are living in those buildings, and they are all completely destroyed. You can see this is a complete destruction of so many buildings here all around. You can see all of them destroyed. And also there is here a construction of underground metro station. Actually, I'm standing above it, and it also can collapse any moment, so it's really dangerous to be here. And here, this large building, inside of that, at least used to be, but maybe still, offices of the U.S. Embassy and the consulate. And as you can see, the devastation of this building is really huge. Maybe it also will collapse. Everybody evacuated from this building, like from all other buildings here around. And actually the wave of the shock wave after this missile was for hundreds of meters. And there are so many people here in Israel that living in this residential central area of Tel Aviv that they all felt it, and there is a lot of trauma. Many people lost their houses, many lost their shops, businesses, and there are hundreds of people that were injured. We still don't know if somebody else could be survived and if there are some casualties. The security forces and rescue forces still trying to understand the damage here, but it is showing you that Iran targeting civilian areas. There are no military targets here whatsoever. The only thing is the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. Consulate. And maybe this will be a sign for U.S. to join this war against Iran, because Iran may be targeting deliberately the consulate and the embassy of the U.S. in Tel Aviv. As you can see here behind me, the damage is amazing. It is one rocket, just one rocket.
Yeah, Nick, stay with us. I'll come back to you. But let me go to Yasser also. He's joining us from Tehran. Yasser, like in the case of Israel, so in the case of Iran, massive pictures of massive destruction. And particularly in the case of Iran, individuals, your military leadership targeted. In fact, there are reports that Israel wanted to go after the topmost levels of leadership, but then the Americans prevailed. And for example, Supreme Leader Khamenei has not been targeted. What's the situation like there on the ground, according to you, Yasser?
Hello, good afternoon. First of all, I want to have a comment about the footages that you played before the dialogue that we have now. The video number 4 was depicting the Iranian missiles hitting Israel, and unfortunately it was captioned wrongly that it was Israeli missiles hitting Iran. Second of all, about the comments that your journalist, the other guest had about Iranian missiles targeting civilian areas. This is the kind of narrative that the Israeli regime is trying to convey to the world. This is an Israeli tactic. We are already familiar with it. As we know that in Gaza, more than 50,000 people have been killed, and most of them are women and children. Also in Iran, In the last 3 days, we have had 200 casualties. 1/3 of them are women. So I think that it can be easily understood that they initiated the war against the UN Charter, against any international norm and law. So they have initiated the war, and now they are claiming that the Iranian missiles are targeting civilian areas. If you go to numbers and the statistics, you can easily understand who is hitting civilian areas, because 200 people have been killed in Iran, and 1/3 of them are women and children. But in Israel, there are only 20 people being killed, and just 1 or 2 women or children among them. And it is because they have been residing in areas near military headquarters and intelligence headquarters in Tel Aviv and Haifa. So I think that the audience will be wise enough to understand the kind of deception that Israeli regime is trying to use to deviate the attention from the realities that we have in the field.
Right.
What we have in the field as reality is that Israel is initiated the war, and they are using FPVs and small drones to target civilian areas in Iran, to assassinate scientists. And they again claim to have been using their Air Force to target these people in Tehran, but actually analysts and the verification of videos and evidence that we have had so far, it shows that for 8 months they have been building up for it, and they have sent many pieces of drones and FPVs to Tehran. And some of these places that they have been trying to assemble, Mossad agents have been trying to assemble FPVs in Tehran, have been discovered. The footages are available online, you can find out. And they have been arrested. They have been using civilian pickup trucks and cargo trucks in order to launch attacks in Tehran and in other areas. So far, they have been unsuccessful to blow serious, to deliver a serious blow to Iranian nuclear sites, despite their claims that they have initiated it against Iranian civilian nuclear project. Most of the targets have been civilian places and sites inside Tehran. They are trying to.
Sorry to be interjecting, but Israel claims that almost 1/3 of your rocket launchers or missile launchers have been eliminated, and that's a substantial denuding of your capacity to hit back. Not that it's visible, because still we can see Iran hitting back at Israel every night. I'm just going to Nick for a bit, and then I come back to you. Yasser, just stay with us. Nick, the charge against Israel is that you are targeting civilian areas also, because while you have succeeded in eliminating some of the military leadership, a majority of those killed, the casualties, are of civilians.
I'm not in Iran. I can say just what Israel is saying, but I can tell you for sure, and to your correspondent from Tehran, I live in Tel Aviv for many years, and this is a residential area. You can see behind me, those are buildings of people that are living here. It is not a military target. There are no bases of military here, even not close to here, and you can see the destruction of those buildings. You can see how massive the destruction is. I don't understand how you can say that this is a military target. Just see how imminent the danger to citizens of Israel, to residents from those Iranian rockets. See how much damage. Try to imagine what's happening to the people that are there. And the shock wave of one ballistic missile of Iran is going for hundreds of meters. So even if Israel started the war, no matter what Israel is doing, there is no justification to do that. There is no justification to shoot at the residential buildings, at people that they have nothing to do with the war. The people that live here, they are not taking the decisions. They are not fighting against Iran. They are not sending any kind of missiles, and you can see the destruction to their houses, to their lives, to their homes, to their businesses. And you can't say Israel started, so we can do whatever we want. Israel started because Iran threatening to destroy Israel for many years, and they are trying to develop nuclear weapons. And with nuclear weapons, they can destroy Israel with one bomb. And they already sending those kind of missiles. So try to understand what will be if they have a nuclear bomb.
Nick, yes, so while the pictures speak for themselves and as I was mentioning earlier, this is the first time perhaps in recent memory that we can see those kind of pictures coming out of Israel where Israeli targets have been hit, which also in a way underscores the kind of military muscle that Iran has developed over the last few years, that they can also retaliate and hit back whenever Israel picks up. But my question is to you first, Yasser, and then Nick, quickly. Are we looking at any possibility of both the sides pulling back? Yasser, what are the bare minimum conditions on which you think that Iran would consider pulling back from the war? I think there is some issue there with the connection of Yasser from Tehran. Okay, we'll have to leave it there then, because we have to. Okay, let's go now to pictures coming in from Rajkot, where the last journey of former Chief Minister of the state, Vijay Rupani, is taking place. His mortal remains after DNA match were handed over to him in Ahmedabad Civil Hospital earlier in the morning. Remember, Vijay Rupani was on that ill-fated Air India flight AI 171, which crashed in Ahmedabad on Thursday. Rupani was going to London to be with his daughter, who stays there. And as it happened with all the victims, Rupani also, all but one victims, Rupani also perished in that crash. His mortal remains, in fact, were located just yesterday only, and after DNA matching, they were handed over to the family today. Now, the last rites are to take place in Rajkot, which is his hometown. Remember, Vijay Rupani began his career in the Municipal Corporation of Rajkot back in the 1980s and 90s, and then rose through the ranks of the BJP to ultimately become the Chief Minister of the state in 2016 when Anandiben Patel vacated the seat and Rupani was put at the helm in the state just 1 year before the Gujarat elections were to be held in 2017. He shepherded the party successfully, and BJP came back to power despite the Patel rebellion that was going on in the state. Vijay Rupani, affable, soft-spoken leader of the BJP. We have a reporter on the ground. Let's listen to that. Okay, so basically there's some connectivity issue there, but in Rajkot, which is seen as the capital of Saurashtra, Vijay Rupani was someone who was soft-spoken, mild-mannered. He had been spokesperson of the party in the state, chief spokesperson. He had been minister in the Anandiben Patel government. And then, of course, he became the chief minister. Before that, he was also party president of the state and handled numerous responsibilities. He was a quintessential organization man. When he was asked to become chief minister, he became so. And when he was asked to make way for Bhupendra Patel in 2021, he very happily resigned and made way for Bhupendra Patel, because for him, it was essentially the organization which gave him whatever he became, and then organization had the right. Gopi is now live with us. Gopi, over to you. Last journey of former chief minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani, going on in Rajkot.
viewers who have tuned in late, it was at around 12:30 that the mortal remains of former Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was taken from this very place, from Ahmedabad Civil Hospital to Rajkot's Hirasar Airport. Now from Rajkot Hirasar Airport, what we are learning from our sources is from the Greenland crossroads, his mortal remains are being taken towards his residence based in Rajkot. Let's tell our viewers that he hails from Rajkot, as you were mentioning about it just a short while back. An affable leader, he began his political career as a corporator, later on went on to become the mayor of Rajkot, and then he became the member of Rajya Sabha. So his body is now being taken at his residence, which is based in Rajkot, from where his body would be kept for an hour at his residence. What we can see is there are thousands of people around to pay last tribute to their favorite leader, Vijay Rupani, while we are also seeing that leaders like Purushottam Rupala, as well as other Rajkot leaders are also present in the procession. While just a short while from now, we are expecting Home Minister Amit Shah is also going to be there, along with Home Minister of Gujarat, Harsh Sanghvi, Health Minister Rishikesh Patel, as well as Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel would also be there. While from his residence at around 5 p.m., 5:15 p.m., his last journey is going to begin from his residence, and there's over 6 kilometer stretch in Rajkot where his body is going to be, his mortal remains will be passing till the Ratpara crematorium, where final rites are going to happen. Back to you.
Right, Gopi, and I believe Union Home Minister Amit Shah is also slated to be there in Rajkot when the last rites happen, as also, of course, Gujarat Chief Minister. What are you hearing about that?
Oh, well, in fact, yes, as you have correctly mentioned, Home Minister Amit Shah is going to be there for the